One. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Discovering Multifamily podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Scandariato with Red Knight Properties. And today we have a special guest with us, Joe Mendoza. And Joe is one of the top 1% nationwide real estate producer. He's a real estate pro, he's a coach, he's an investor in real estate, an author, and a speaker. And today we're going to talk about all of those things and how his mindset and his experience in the real estate industry led to his coaching experience, which led to more financial freedom for Joe. So I want to thank Joe for coming on our show today, and it's nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show. I'm super honored and privileged.
It was great. For those of you who aren't aware, I was on Joe's show the other week. So definitely check out he has a show as well, and he can tell you all about that. So definitely check out that episode.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a great job, and yeah, so glad to be reconnecting with you again.
Our pleasure. So Joe, tell us about your life story.
All right. Do you guys have like 10 hours? No, I'm kidding.
1 minute.
All right. So my real estate career background actually started in high school. I was exposed to it at a very early age. One of my teachers in high school was a realtor. And then one of my uncles actually said, hey, you know what? I got a couple tickets to this Robert Allen seminar. Why don't you check it out? And so that was how I started. I went to the Robert Allen seminar, got really fired up. I go, oh my God, this is the answer, because my dad, first immigrant to the US, he was a Navy man. And so we didn't really know how to really make it here in the US. And he kept saying, real estate, get rich. And that was like my ticket. And then during high school, my senior year, I went to college at night, started studying real estate. And I thought like, hey, you know what? Let's get the core classes for my real estate license. That might make me a little more credible because I was only like 18 years old. And so I ended up taking real estate principles, practice, appraisal, and I got the classes. Unfortunately, the market took a major nosedive in the early 90s. And I backed off and I said, hey, you know what? Let's go to San Diego State. I finished my degree. And then afterwards, I did a few jobs. They didn't work out. And I started doing real estate at night. I started to relight that fire 1998. And so I was having my regular day job, 9 to 5. And then I went to Prudential California Realty at night and I started cold calling as a real estate agent. And I did get my broker license right away, right out of the gates, because I had the requirements. And then I made a major run for it. And I went from part-time agent to 2005. I was number 7 in all San Diego County as a realtor. And then in the interim, kind of simultaneously, I was starting to invest. I started doing fix and flips. I did some syndications. I did apartment condo conversions. I did so much. And then 2007-8 hit. And I was like, oh no. So I had my slice of humble pie and it was kind of crazy. And then from 2008 to 2011, I was starting to regroup and I had to pull it all together. I had to pretty much start over. And I started working with investors. I had to work on my mindset. And in 2014, I really started to relaunch as an investor. And so I started buying property again, started going passive, a little bit active, and here we are today.
That's great. So tell us about what your investment group or yourself and a couple of individuals are looking for now as we're recording this in early 2021. And can you mention to our audience a little bit about, obviously, tons of experience, and from what I understand, you've written a book, so we want to talk about that as well.
Sure. So what myself and my group is looking for is just like everybody else, opportunity. So whether it's in the single family space or multifamily, or even as a limited partner, that's kind of where I stand. It's kind of where my group stands. because I still have my broker license. So if it's a deal that I don't want, I'm going to put my real estate agent hat on and just sell it retail. If it's something too big, then I'm going to have to get my group and other investor private lender partners to come on with me, or I go with them. I'm really, really flexible as an investor. So it really depends on the deal, depend on the opportunity. And also it depends where my financial stance is at the time, because I might not be as liquid, because I might be in several deals. So it really is case by case is how I operate. That's pretty much my investor hat. And as far as the books is concerned and my coaching, I love giving back. And I've been a coach for the Tom Ferry organization for about 10 years. Tom Ferry was my personal coach back in 2004. That's what kind of helped me get to 2004. I was selling about 50 homes a year. 2005, I said, hey, Tom, I want to make $1 million as an agent. I want to also sell over 100 homes. And in 2005, I did just that. I sold 113 homes as an agent. I hit 1.1 million GCI, gross commission. On top of that, I made over $500,000 in flips and other stuff. And so in actuality, I probably netted 1.1 million that year. And it was a crazy year. And that inspired me because Tom said, hey, Joe, you know what? I want you to be a coach, and I was super honored that the man himself said, hey, I want you to be a coach. That, hey, I finally arrived, right? So it was my way to like, you know what? That says a lot about me. And you know what? Why don't I start giving back? And so I started coaching with the Tom Ferry organization. And the way I was coaching was like, hey, I made it as a realtor to the top of the food chain. And then he started sending me clients from all across the nation. And here we are today, fast forward. I coach all across the nation. I also coach in Canada and Philippines. So my clients are pretty worldwide. And so I'm understanding multiple different markets. And what I coach from there is I teach them how to either be a great agent, a great team leader, a great broker owner. And then what we teach also is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about, like, hey, stay in the BI quadrant. So I don't want them just to be self-employed. I want them to move over into the BI quadrant and teach them how to be a business owner and investor. So it's like, hey, you can only be self-employed so long. Let's create financial freedom. So once you're being an agent, hey, meanwhile, take some of those commission checks and buy some property. So you're not stuck doing a job like an agent or a flipper, because that's a self-employed quadrant. And you only could go so far with that many times in a day. I tell them leverage, 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 leverage. Make the commission. Don't blow it on the Mercedes, the Porsches, whatever. Those are bad doodads. Let's move some of that money over, pay your taxes, and start investing. And so I'm actually teaching a lot of my agents, broker owners, like, get out of the rat race, because yeah, it's nice you're making 6 figures, 7 figures, but there's no end to it. And so that's what I got inspired to write the book, Plex with a Plex, from being an agent, also an investor, and then make it a comeback. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or whatever, that was inspired in COVID, because I was like sitting at home, like, man, how could I help these people? I went through that in 2008, where I there was some crazy thoughts going in my head, and I shared it in my book. And I was like, dude, I got to help some people, because I know some people have never seen this, but from the financial perspective, I did. And I shared that in my book. And I was pretty vulnerable, let's just say, and transparent, where I shared a lot that, like, hey, there was some dark times, but guess what? If you keep the faith, you keep moving forward, you shall prevail.
That is great. That is great. Where can we find these books, the two?
Amazon. They're Amazon? On Amazon. And yeah, I'd love for anybody out in the audience to take a look and give me honest feedback, right? Because I'm always looking for ways to improve myself. Now, it's not perfect. I didn't go to grammar school or English major or anything like that. I really spoke from the heart. And my daughter actually helped me edit it. I went the frugal, cheap way, but hey, I told myself, like one of my mentors says, done is better than perfect. Just get it out there, get it going, take massive action. And I threw out both those books. I'm actually working on a third book right now about building teams. So that third book is in the works. It's almost done. It just has to go through the editing process, but it's pretty much done.
That is great. Can you also, another way you give back through is your podcasts. Can you talk to us about that as well?
Yeah. So I love, like I mentioned, giving back. And so part of my give back was like, hey, you know what? I was doing these like realtor videos for a long, long time. Hey, how do you buy a house? Hey, what's a home inspection? What's an appraisal? And then check it out on YouTube, guys. Check it out because you'll probably crack up. Some of those really, really old videos about 10 years ago, that was it. And I got bored and I'm like, man, this isn't serving me too much, nor the people. Like, let's give a way to like really serve the people. And so I said, hey, you know what? Let's start doing maybe podcasts and interviewing some amazing people. So it's a win-win-win where I get to meet incredible people. I get to help spread their word. And I also get to learn because I am like a voracious learner. I love learning, Audible books. I've got hundreds and hundreds of books that I read. Audible I listen to. I think I hit if you're ranking on Audible, I hit the elite. I'm constantly like throwing on an earpiece the moment I wake up. I even got my wife got me this nice thing for my birthday, these Bose noise reduction. The moment I wake up, it's because I tell myself, hey, garbage in, garbage out. And so with the Real Estate Raw Show podcast, I've got diverse backgrounds in real estate. Okay, so I've got people from mobile home parks, multifamily, fix and flippers, et cetera. Feel free to check it out on YouTube or any podcast platform. They're on all the big ones. And Anthony was also one of my amazing guests, and he did an amazing job sharing his words of wisdom. And that's basically what it's about.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So sounds like you had a very long and still successful run in the business. What are you focusing on now mostly? Is it mostly the coaching side? Are you still investing? What's up for Joe Mendoza in 2021 and beyond?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So with Tom Ferry, there was some transitions going on, unfortunately, because of COVID. That was something beyond our control, beyond anybody's control. And I'm one of his speakers, and we were supposed to hit it hard, go and do live events, what have you. And then unfortunately, just like the rest of the world, we got shut down. And so like, I still have my coaching clients. I do have about 20-ish coaching clients through Tom Ferry. That's like steady Eddie. I love doing it. I love giving back. I'll probably coach for the rest of my life. But meanwhile, transitioning because I recently joined this company called EXP. And I had my own private brokerage for many, many, many years. And then when COVID hit, it's like adapt and overcome. I was introduced to EXP maybe about 6 years ago. One of my biggest regrets, unfortunately, was not getting in earlier because literally I did some calculations. I probably lost millions not making a decision sooner because the way EXP business model is structured with the stock ownership, et cetera. So I shut down my brokerage. I joined EXP, and now I'm building a team. So the Joe Mendoza team is definitely in full effect. I have several VAs in the Philippines. So a lot of my admins in the Philippines. So that machine's gonna keep going. As a matter of fact, I'm looking to hire several more in the Philippines to help offset some of the things I'm not very, very good at or nor want to do. So I'm building a strong admin platform in the Philippines. My boots on the ground here in the US is me. I even told my past clients, hey, Joe's back. You want to start investing. I even sent them a lot of my books. So a lot of people, almost all my A clients, I sent them my Flex with a Plex book. I said, hey, you know what? let's get you out of the rat race too. Put that investor hat on. And so I told him, I sent a letter. I said, hey, I let you guys down a little bit, and I want to come back and try to help you out and build your portfolio around real estate. So I'm looking to really serve my clients as well as I can. I'm really looking to build the Joe Mendoza team back again for sure. And I've already have several agents on my team. And also with the EXP model, I have lots and lots of people already starting to join me with the EXP. And I'm super excited because with the EXP model, we just announced we're launching in Hong Kong. We just announced that we're launching in Italy. We are in the UK, Australia, Canada, all 50 states. We just opened Mexico. We just opened India. So that will also help with my global reach because, I believe this is a global economy, not just a US economy, where like with the EXP model and what I want to do with the universal world is really serve as far as I can. Now, I know I can't win everybody, but I don't intend to. There's some people going to really hate me. I don't care. And some people are really going to love me. And that's fine too. That's where I'm at. So hopefully that wasn't too long with.
No, that's excellent. And so, Joe, you're gonna most likely, at least where you're based on that side, are you still focusing on the San Diego County area, or are you, like you mentioned, you're kind of at least for the
No. So as far as investing,
well, as far as the business, so the coaching business is one thing, and then the EXP is the agency side, if I'm not mistaken.
correct.
So as far as that side goes, you mentioned obviously it's more of a global reach, but your footprint's still in San Diego, California.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to stay close to home as long as I can. As long as the taxes don't go too high, or the government does some kind of laws or rules to really mess with California, I'll stay here for a while. I love the weather. I have a lot of ties here. But eventually, yeah, I mean, with that kind of business model, I could operate anywhere in the world. So I do want to start going into other countries, sharing the EXP model. And basically, eventually, this COVID thing's going to go away. And I'd love to get back on speaking on larger platforms in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, and kind of share to hopefully impact, somebody that might need my help or might need my advice or looking for some kind of words of wisdom or motivation. I definitely want to go start speaking in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people.
That is excellent. Joe, as we wind up down the show, how could people find you?
The easiest way, just go to joemendoza.com and go ahead and put your email, folks, because there's many, many, many decades of wisdom, experience, and tips. So I give a lot of free tips. Just go to joemendoza.com.
Excellent. So that's joemendoza.com. We'll have a link to his website in the show notes, as well as a link to his social media platforms. So you can reach out to Joe at any time. And if you don't mind, if you liked what you heard and saw, if you could please give us a rating on iTunes and review, it helps Joe and my message get to a greater audience. So we really would appreciate that if you could do that. And
thank you so much, Anthony, for having me on your show.
yeah, thank you, Joe. It's an honor and a pleasure, and hope to talk to you again soon.